What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to the Battlefield of the Mind. I'm Rick, creator of the Warriors Way mindset, and I'm here with a fellow warrior who I'm very excited to bring on. So, Stacey Lynnes, also Stacey Comer Stevens, whichever direction we're going. Which status are we going to be calling you today?
I just love, you know what? I'm just Stacey Lynnes.
Just Stacey Lynnes.
That's
All right,
who
so
I am.
let's do it. Stacey, you've got an amazing story, and there's a lot of warrior trials in this that I want to hear about and go through together. And I have a feeling, because I know your personality type, we're going to get people riled up a little bit, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's where the fun comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, who are you, Stacey? Help everybody know who you are first.
You know what? I'm a lot of things. You know, if I had to put some labels on myself, I started out as a 15-year-old teenage runaway who thought that her whole world and identity was wrapped up in some guy and his shitty popularity. It cost me everything, right? My family, my self-confidence, my self-esteem, everything. And it took a long time to get out of what was a very dark, manipulative, sometimes abusive relationship and environment, right? It's the environment where I'm the 15-year-old person who has no parents, who has no supervision, who has no control over anything that I do or encounter or I'm exposed to. So that was really tough. When I finally got back home, there was a lot of things that I had to sort out, but the one thing that kept me focused through all of this was my declaration to my dad before I left, which was one day I was going to be a lawyer. So it took me 25 years, roughly, and I was about 38 years old, and I got into law school. I had two boys. They were 10 and they were 15 years old, and an ex-husband that wasn't really doing much of anything. So it was all on me, and I completed 3 years of law school, almost lost everything because of some decisions that my ex-husband had made, had to battle through that, got called to the bar in the province of Ontario, and now I'm a senior partner at a Bay Street law firm, which in my world is a pretty big deal. That's me in a nutshell.
That's a very big deal. There's a lot of things in here. There's something that you said that I want to unpack over and over again, because I think it's going to be used in multiple different ways. Even though it's 3 words, I think it's going to be used in a few different ways. You said I had an ex-husband who didn't do much, so it's all on me. And
Yep.
I really think that this all on me is going to be used in multiple different ways in this story. Well, that was all on me. Well, then this was all on me. And then that all fell on me. And then this was all on me to get out of it. And this is all on me to work on this. And this was all on me to make it happen. Like, I'm kind of curious to see how much this all on me is a theme. Maybe I'm off, but let's see. Let's test it out and see if it lands. Now, all right. You started off with the classic chasing love, because when we're young, all of us young people know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
And then we got the stubbornness of, like, you can't tell me, I'll show you, which I'm sure has gotten us in quite a bit of trouble, hasn't it?
Just a little.
Watch me. It's all on me. I'll show you.
Just you watch. Yep. I can't do that. What do you mean I can't do that? Yes, I can.
Well, on one hand, your stubbornness will get you consistently choosing the wrong partners. But on the other hand, your stubbornness also made it so you became a partner at a law firm.
That's true. It is true. Yep. And it also, gave me the opportunity to actually understand and realize who I am.
Ooh, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, wow. If it made you realize who you are, I'm excited. Where does this go?
I'm a rebel.
Uh-oh.
I'm Dora the Explorer. I'm sure I was her in a past life. I'm a cheerleader. I am a strong believer in empowerment and authenticity.
It's a weird word today with authenticity. It's thrown around a lot, but not truly challenged. And as the way that you and I are, and you know how I am on this show, is
Mhm.
challenge everything as a part of the warrior's way. Is we
Yep.
have to ask questions like, is it really authenticity? And can we have authenticity without accountability? And some of the things that people really stumble with when it comes to like, I'm really this. This is how I really am, until we challenge and they go like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, then don't call it that. I
Mhm.
don't know. And so authenticity is one we will get into. um, Actually, let's do that this direction. Like, if you're like, I'm into empowerment and authenticity, without me corrupting the conversation, what does it mean to you for your journey so far? Like, purely.
What it means for me is that um, empowerment means that I know what I need to do to feel strong, confident, and capable as a person. And authenticity means that I am actually showing you who I really am, regardless of what your opinion of me might be, what the circumstances within reason may be, but it means that I'm being true to who I am. That I've done a lot of work thinking and going over where I've been in life, the choices I've made, the outcomes, and what I can learn from it. So I have a good grip on who I am. I know who the authentic me is, which is someone who's going to be, I'll be brutally honest with you. I'll be respectful. I'm not going to talk shit behind your back. If I'm going to talk shit about you, I'm going to talk shit to your face, which sometimes gets me in trouble. But in a world where so many people walk around with, two faces, and you never really know if you're actually dealing with that person, I like to think that that's not what you get from me. I'll show you who I am. Some people like it, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Not my
Now,
problem.
well, that's tough. Let's just go in a little bit on this. How did you get to this? I like what you're saying, but we got to see like, well, how does that work for anybody else? Because this seems a little more niche than people would probably like it to be. So let's start with empowerment, because I want to make sure I have the steps here for empowerment, and then how I can use authenticity to make sure that what I'm doing for being strong, confident, and capable. How do I do that? So if I was like, Stacey, I love it. I want to be strong, confident, and capable, and you have done this.
Mhm.
Please give me some guidance. How do I do it? I want to do it too. What are your steps for me to find my authenticity?
You know, I think the first step is that you have to be honest with yourself, and I think you have to understand. I hate I know that I hate the word weakness, but I struggle with the word weakness because a lot of people see that as a bad thing, right? We don't want to talk about our weaknesses because somehow that makes me feel like I'm worth less in society or in someone's view. If that does that make sense?
I think it makes sense because people use judgments and shame right now, but you're weak, you are not good, you are not capable, you are not strong, you're weak. And it's a
Mhm.
judgment, and it makes it so you feel shameful, like you are not good enough, you are not right, you're not, you know,
Yeah.
you are wrong. There's something wrong with you. And so weakness, maybe you can help clarify that. What do you mean by weakness? Like, weakness is actually not bad. Weakness is what?
No, it's not bad. Weakness is a sign of um, improvement. It's a sign of where I can grow. Like you have to remember when I left. Well, you have to remember. You wouldn't know when I left home when I was 15. I was terrified. Like I was terrified. I remember, leaving home and thinking, first of all, what the hell did I just do? Um, and then second of all, thinking, okay, how do I put on the toughest exterior that I can so people will not think about hurting me? So for me, my signs of weakness has always been okay, fine. So how do I grow from this? And to, maybe to put it on a more wider perspective is how many people walk around with imposter syndrome? How many people find themselves, whether it's in a job, a competition, a game, like anything, where they're like, oh, maybe I am not smart enough to do this. How many times do we knock ourselves down because we have this perceived weakness that for some reason we're not good enough? When the reality is we're all good enough, but maybe you're just not there yet.
I think it's interesting what you said on a few parts here. And so you're not wrong with the belief systems of maybe I'm not smart enough or maybe I'm not something enough, and that starts becoming your belief system. But I kind of want to get back to this thing you just said about like, how do I look tough to not let people hurt me, like the protection system that you've created. And this is one of those things where I see people create, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, some sort of protection system. And with this, and we talked about personality types before, this is the challenger type personality. This is something you and I can both relate to because we are both that personality type. But this is the defense that we found works best.
Mm-hmm.
Is like
Yep.
the best defense is
the best offense.
Having a good offense. If I rip you apart first, you can't even take a shot at me. And we learned this early on. And we learned this most likely that first boyfriend or whatever was a very good teacher in this category, because there is argument that this personality type is created, not necessarily born.
Yeah.
And that's an argument just for this one. This is one of the ones that's like, it kind of breaks the rules a little bit. And so we were maybe created, you were maybe something different before that dynamic made you have to protect yourself in this way, where you felt like it's all on me. And if I have to be tough as nails, that's the only way to stay safe. Because when you were vulnerable and when you were down and when you felt almost like, hey, someone should save me right now, someone should protect me right now, I should be taken care of right now, you were hurt.
That's right.
And it messed stuff up. So then you're like, no one's coming to save me. And the only way to save me is to save myself. So I better get tougher.
Yeah. Because when someone did come to save me, there was always a price.
Mm-hmm.
There was always a price to be paid. And I thought, I don't want to do that either. No, I did. I had some genuine friends growing up that they looked out for me. Like there's no, and they didn't want anything from me. They said, you know what? We can respect you and what you're doing. Nobody should mess with you. But there were other people who did. It's all on me.
Yeah.
It's always been on me.
Yeah, this is the challenger type. The best defense is a good offense, and weakness is bad. Now you went into a profession now to go like, you know what? I need to not show weakness because that doesn't work for me. I need to be strong and confident and capable. And the reality is on that one, it's almost like honey badger mentality. Like, listen, you may not be able to beat a lion, but I'll go right after that lion. You want to mess with me?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, but okay.
Okay. I warned you. I'll be nice until I can't be nice anymore. And that's when
the honey badger will come out.
That's when the honey badger comes out. Yeah.
The honey badger don't give a shit.
No, I know. I like them.
All right, so be honest and respectful and direct, but this is where, tell me if this resonates. Whenever I talk to any other personality types or the challenger types, the bumper sticker that feels the most correct is, if you fuck around, you'll find out. Go ahead, fuck around. You'll find out.
Go ahead.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah. Because trust me, things won't work out well. It may not work out well immediately. Yeah. It may take a little bit of time. I'll come back.
Like, I believe in karma because I am the karma.
I love karma.
I'll make sure
I really do.
I'll make sure your karma happens.
Yeah, I'm afraid of karma though too.
Hey, listen, you'll be like,
I'm a bitch.
You'll just own it. Then you'll be like, yeah, I knew I had that one coming. Bring it on.
Yeah, and see, but that's the other part of it too, right? Is the fact that I'll accept responsibility. If I've done something wrong, if I've messed up, I'm not going to blame it on somebody else. I'm going to say, you know what? You're right. This was my fault, and I was wrong. Okay.
How does that work
Blame,
for
it's
you?
still all on me.
Yeah, when you put it on you, when you take the accountability, what happens?
I think I feel that fits into my empowerment, right? Because I am taking responsibility.
Does it feel good?
It does.
Really? So taking accountability feels good because
It
today's
does,
society
yeah.
is really struggling with this one.
Because again, if I'm going to take responsibility for something that I've done wrong, that's the biggest data resource that I have for improvement. So I've done something wrong. I fucked it up. Okay, fine. Why? How? What can I do different next time? I don't beat myself up over it, right? I know people, and they do, and they're like, oh, this happened to me, and now it's poor me, and oh, what am I going to do? And I'm so sad. And I'm like, no. Okay, first of all, what can you learn from this? Where can you now go with this to make you a better person, to increase your level of personal growth? Because you know what? At the very, very end of it all, I don't want to be laying there thinking, I have regrets. I wish I could have. Oh man, I should have. That's not life. That's not living when you're walking around regretting what you've done. Fix your shit. Move on.
Fix your shit.
Sorry.
No, I like it. Fix your shit.
Fix your shit, man. Move on. Come on. Life is short.
Yeah, fix your shit. All right, tell me if this feels right. Then I want to make sure because I like what you did with because we know that happened to you and then happened for you. So I like that you went poor me to for me. I like that. Like no, fix your shit. Which this is the fun. It's the funner way to say it. All right, tell me if this feels true. If you block accountability, you're going to block your improvement and opportunity. Does that feel?
Yes.
Feels
yeah.
fair?
That feels fair. Yep.
Yeah, so right now, society is really struggling right now, especially, and this is just the numbers that's out right now. The ladies are really struggling with being honest with themselves about accountability. And there's a lot of jokes going on around it, but it's a real thing where like there's a thing I've been saying for, a while now that there's a lot of people who gaslight their own introspection. This means we lie about our truth. We lie about what it really is. And we're really fucking good at calling everybody else's stuff what it is. Really good at that. But when it's your turn to call what you're doing what it is, we call it something else. We call it justified for some reason. Or I'm still the good one because they had it coming, or they're not good, so I can do this. We protect ourselves by lying to ourselves about what it really is, which then blocks accountability, which then blocks our opportunity for improvement. So what do you think is going to happen with people who just keep blocking their chance to go, well, yeah, I did that?
I think that for the people who continue to gaslight themselves and to block their ability to be accountable, that I really do believe that at some point they're going to continue to live in what's called blissful dissatisfaction, right? One, you're blissfully dissatisfied. You know you're not really happy, but you're justifying it, and life just goes on. But then you know what? We all die. And I believe that there comes a point in time in our life where you're just going to look back and go, man, if only I had of. And it really also calls the question is like, why do women do that? Why do we feel that we have to, like you said, gaslight ourselves and not be accountable or, just justify things because that's supposed to be okay when it's not?
I have theories, but I would love to hear yours first. Why do you think you are in the women category?
I am.
You've seen this. What is your opinion on this one? Like your point of view of like, here's why I think we do it.
I think it's because when we are children, we as women were told, sit there, be a good girl, wear a pretty dress, don't get dirty, don't argue back, don't talk back, act like a lady. We're all raised with these values and beliefs that our parents have brought to the table. And this isn't a parent bashing concept because our parents were raised by their parents who did the best that they could,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then my parents did the best they could for me. And just like, they did for my sisters. But there comes a point in time, so you go through childhood and you're being told this is the way you need to be. Then you go through young teenage, women adulthood where are you part of the cool kids? Right? Are you part of the popular girl crowd? Where do you fit in? What is, like, we don't even know what our identity is at that point. So we've been influenced by our parents. Now we're being influenced by our peer group and by our teachers. And now we're actually women, and we're at that point where we can actually assume control of our own identity and figure out what our own values and beliefs are. But for a lot of us, by this time, now we're getting married, or we're getting into long relationships where we're still operating on an old system that doesn't work for us anymore. And we stick with it.
I think it's definitely a huge part of the dynamic where I have videos out on this where one of the things is like, what are the three main needs that people have? The guy one is very funny. It's easy, hungry, horny, appreciation. We're very simple. Mm-hmm. The appreciation is obviously the big one, but well fed, well sexed, we complain way, way less. Like, it's just take those ones off the table. But the appreciation is our big one. For women, it's not as classy or flashy. It's way less cool because it gets more into the reassurance, safety, security, all of that part. Yep. And then it gets into acceptance. But the acceptance part is only slightly accepted from guys. It's mostly accepted by other women. This is the acceptance part comes more from female to female than it is guys to female. It's just not as strong. We want to be chosen, but beyond that, your friend group is more important. And so that's a big part of it. And then the last part is hypergamy, which is how do you choose your mate? Which I bet 15-year-old you wish you had that class before you went into it.
But, you know what? Yes and no.
Okay.
Because I don't think I would be who I am today if my life had have taken a different path. I think I'd be a very different person.
Yeah, probably.
Because I had no choice but to be insightful and learn about myself and learn about where I was going and what I was doing and how I was going to do it.
That's fair. Sometimes you have to truly touch the stove to know how bad it's going to burn.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fair enough. Well played.
Yeah.
So
I told you, I'm not living with regret.
No. Well, hey, well said. All right. So we told you, through your whole life as your little girl, be a good girl, Stacey.
Be a good girl. Yeah.
Be a good girl. Sit down.
Don't talk
act
back.
Like a lady. Don't talk back. But then you want to fit in. You want to be popular, and you want that acceptance from your peer groups. So from all the way up into your teen years, up until you start going, now you're supposed to be independent. You're told who you need to be accepted.
That's right.
So who are you allowed to be accepted?
Yeah. There's this, this is tough because I heard this quote and it really fascinated me. It said, I'm not who I think I am, and I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that as women, we spend a lot of time trying to fit into the role that we think other people want us to play.
Correct. Which means then your job is to control the truth by only allowing people to see what you want them to see of you, which is not the full truth. This is mostly going to be a mask or a persona or some sort of I'm a badass, when really you're like, please don't hurt me. And the masks that we wear to try to make it so we seem authentic. And then we go ahead and gaslight ourselves by calling our mask our real us.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that can possibly happen to somebody is they figure out how to do it. And it works. You can put on a mask that everybody seems to like.
Yeah.
And then you can never be you.
That's right. And then I think that there comes a point in time where women end up having to make a choice. And I hate to talk about midlife and menopause and all this other stuff because we get shit on for that too, to be honest with you. But, I think that we get to a point in life where all of a sudden little signs start happening where we're tired of it. I'm tired of wearing the mask. I'm tired of making sure that I keep everybody else happy.
Yeah.
I'm tired of answering the question this way because it doesn't cause an argument. It doesn't rock the boat.
Do you want to hear an interesting statistic I just found? Like I just found out, my mom has started her journey on this too. And they were finding that for women, the most common age for this to happen is from like late 50s to like early 60s is when like the wake up is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really late in the game. Like
it's very late in the game.
Ladies will lie to themselves all the way up into the point where usually when burden of beauty can no longer be held up, and you're like, who I really am now has to be taken into question. I can't lie to myself anymore.
Yeah. And what are your values? Like, what are your real values and what are your true beliefs about yourself? Right? Because that's what it really comes down to. If you don't believe that you are strong, confident, independent, whatever, right? If you really do believe that, I'm just this poor woman, and if I just keep everybody happy in my life and this and that and everything will be okay, then that's the way you're always going to be. So it's really about drilling down and saying, how do I really feel about myself when I'm by myself? When there's nobody else around, when I'm not meeting everybody else's expectations, and the mask is off. How do I really feel about myself?
Well, not good.
That's the problem. You have to change that.
Well, I don't want to feel not good, Stacey. So why do you want me to feel not good? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and distract myself. I don't want to do that.
That's fine.
I'm going to be on social media.
You can do that. And then what ends up happening is you start looking at all of the other fakeness on social media and realizing that your mask isn't as good as my mask or somebody else's mask. And now you got to be, right?
That makes me feel bad too.
Social media is bad. No.
Everything's making me feel bad, Stacey. I don't want to work on me. I need ice cream.
Then that's okay. That's okay. But I'm telling you, the thing that sort of makes me the most sad is to think that what happens if you hear those signals, right? Where you start to feel uncomfortable and you start to really question what's going on in your world and who you are and what you're really doing, but you don't do anything about it. How do you live the next 30 years, 40 years? Miserable? Unhappy?
You live in a lie.
Lying to yourself. Yeah. Lying to yourself, exhausted because all you're doing is keeping up with everybody else's shit except for your own.
To be accepted. I want to be accepted. I don't want to be kicked out or blocked or exiled or any of that. And
that's true.
And what if my mask is that I'm strong and confident and independent? What if that's my mask? And underneath, I really just want to be taken care of. And I just want to, one of the more common ones is women who I just want to feel safe, secure, and be a good mom. I don't want to have to carry all this weight. I don't want to do that.
But you can, though. It does come up often. Look, when I first started wearing my strong, confident, empowered mask, I was young. Damn right, I was this little girl inside who was terrified, and all I wanted was safety. I wanted security. I wanted to know that I was going to be okay. I wished that I had someone to look after me. That's all I wanted. But I also realized that I didn't have that. So I had no choice but to grow from being that person to fitting into having the values and beliefs about myself that now match the mask that I was wearing.
If you were able to have it now, let's say, like, I don't know who your new guy is. I know you're with somebody now. Let's say he's like, I'm that guy. I'll keep you safe and secure. I'll make sure you're good and I got you. Would you have resistance to letting go that type of control?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a struggle too, because if you actually had your wish granted, could you accept it?
I could, to a point, as long as I still get to be me.
Well, yeah, of course. No, he didn't say don't be you. He's just out protect you and make sure you're safe.
Okay, but what's the price?
Yeah.
What's the price I have to pay?
This is where maybe it's one of those wounds where you're like, what's the price? I don't know. Trust, openness, connection, authenticity, love.
Yeah.
let your armor down, maybe not have the claws out. So honey badger, it's like,
Yeah.
no, don't hit me in the back. I got you.
Yep.
You trust me, I trust you. That's
Yep.
the price, is we have connection, but I'll make myself vulnerable to you to make sure I can protect you. And I guess the only thing I would want from you is that love, nurture, compassion, that empathy. That's what I want from you. I want you to be able to let your walls down. That's the
Yeah.
price.
And that's a fair price to pay, because I
Yeah.
can be all of that.
How excited is it to have no control in that category and be openly vulnerable? Yeah. It's the level one hardest thing for
It is hard.
for our personality type to do it.
Yeah,
It's the
it is.
hardest level. It's a Grand Canyon jump for us. Most people won't
Mhm.
understand because other ones are like, oh, I would do that in a second. But
Yeah.
I know that when I had to do that, because I actually had to do this,
Mhm.
when
So
I
do
did
I.
that for myself and I really did surrender to like the vulnerability aspect, I will open my heart. I will cry
Mhm.
openly. I will connect my heart with somebody's heart. Like, no problem now. This was not the way, because that was weakness. If I open my heart, that's a free shot. Why would I do that?
Yeah. It's hard,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes time, and you have to trust yourself first
Yeah.
before I think you can trust anybody else to come in. And the trust is, for me, is that I have to trust myself to be vulnerable, because
But
I've
you
never
also have,
really trusted myself to be that way.
I like it, but also we just talked about we lie to ourselves so much. How can we trust somebody who lies so much? Because if we know we're lying to us, yet we have to trust ourselves. But
Mhm.
that person's a liar who's in the mirror. How do
Mhm.
you trust the person that I know you're lying because I'm lying and I know I'm lying. So
Why are you lying?
how do
But
I trust
why do
the
we,
liar?
I think it goes back to, why do we lie to ourselves?
I love it. So here's what I like
Why
that
do
you're
we
doing,
lie to
Stacey.
ourselves?
You're doing the thing that I really enjoy, and you've probably noticed people hate, is you use that scariest letter in the alphabet often.
Mhm.
Why?
Why?
Why? People don't like why.
No, because that
No.
means that they have to look inward, and they have to reflect, and they have to be able to justify their answers or their actions.
Yeah, I'll justify. All right, I'll make up a reason why it's okay. I will justify.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'll make up why I'm the hero in the story, even though
Mhm.
I'm doing very villainous things.
It's true.
I
Mhm.
can lie about that. And so
Sure, so can I. We
heck,
all do.
you're in the universe of people like, let me try and convince you how this crime I did was actually good.
Yeah,
You've had it. You've had people try to listen, Stacey, I'm the victim here.
I'm the victim. I didn't do anything wrong. I
I
was
got,
just,
yeah,
drunk and speeding, and, ran over 10 people. No.
I killed some people. Okay, fair. But it
Yeah.
wasn't my fault. Here's why. That happened to me, actually. And I
Mhm.
was just,
Yeah.
I'm traumatized.
Yeah. But you know what? There's a difference to saying, you know, I did this and this happened. Why did I do it? Well, let's be honest. I was stupid, right? I ignored my gut feeling telling me, no, don't do it. But I did it anyways, and I was stupid.
Well,
Let's have some harsh truth.
well, maybe this is where the judgment part gets tricky with it. Even to say I am stupid is a judgment. Even just, but the acceptance piece that I think that you're on the exact track for is, instead of ending the acceptance with a judgment, but just an acceptance of what happened. Is I
Right.
definitely did that,
Yeah. I
and
was wrong.
I learned a
I was
lesson.
I was stupid when I did. Doesn't mean I am stupid, but
Well,
I made a
even still,
mistake.
here's a challenge I'll put on the table. This is why people get really hung up on how, like, on healing. Is if we can remove blame, shame, and judgment,
Mhm.
and then say it what is without that, just observationally, it gives you a chance to heal, to see, like, remember you said the accountability part? Well, if I don't add in a judgment, it makes it easier to grow. And so that happened. I made mistakes that I learned from,
Yes.
and I adjusted to not do it again.
Mhm.
Well, those are observational, instead of saying I was stupid, I'm an idiot, I fuck up, I'm a mess. Like, I don't have to add those in there, because it just kind of messes up the belief systems around growth.
Yes.
And so that's where I would throw down that, like, acceptance piece without judgment and go, yeah, that went really, really crazy. That went off the
Mhm.
rails for sure. did you learn from this at all? And this would probably even where I would take the shame out. You ever
Yeah.
have people who apologize a lot?
All the time.
I'm
It drives me
sorry.
crazy. Why are you sorry? What did
I'm
you
sorry.
do?
I'm just sorry. If I say
Why?
sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I say sorry so much. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Look, I'm Canadian. We say sorry all the time.
Oh, yeah, but you say sorry, eh?
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry is actually, this is where I like Marshall Rosenberg when he would get an NVC, when he would say sorry is a shame system. Say you're sorry, Stacey. Sit and be a good girl. Act like a
Yep.
lady. Say you're sorry. And
Mhm.
all of these are meant to make you feel bad for what you are. If you
Yep.
want to be fun, you're being a bad girl. If you
Yep.
want to if you want to laugh and be too loud, you're not sitting like a lady, you're being a lady. And if you're doing anything that I don't like, even if it's good, you
Mhm.
should say you're sorry. No,
Right.
Stacey, say you're sorry like you mean it.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Mhm.
Now that
I'm
you said
so
sorry,
sorry.
now go to
So
your
so
room and think
sorry.
about what you
Yeah.
did. These are 3 shame systems that you should feel bad for who you are. And we
Mhm.
do this to our kids over and over again to when we're adults and something
Mhm.
doesn't go well. Instead of saying, I can see I made a mistake that cost this and this. I
Mhm.
understand now that if I do that, this happens. And so I'll start adjusting this to do this so I can be better for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't have to say sorry. I just
No.
explained, I acknowledge, I see the
Mhm.
potential for opportunity to grow, and I'm going to adjust this way. Does that work for you? Cool, let's do it.
Perfect. Let's move on.
Right? We don't
Yeah.
have to say sorry. I don't
Yeah.
have to feel ashamed. We can get to the acceptance that you're talking about without blame, shame, and judgment.
Yeah. But everybody shames.
That's the weapon today is shame
It
and
is. I was
judgment.
going to say it's a power move, right?
It is.
If I can say something that makes you feel ashamed for what you've done or said, then somehow I think that makes me a better person,
Well, you'll take
a
me
more
out of the game.
powerful person.
Yeah, because I won't fight back as hard because you knocked me down a few pegs.
But why does that matter to me?
Well, it's something. This is where it gets into how people bully.
Mhm.
Guys are more vocal, direct, and aggressive,
Yes. Very much so.
and so they'll be more like physical and or like in your face, less agreeable, more aggressive. So that's the way that boys bully, and usually their targets are based on weakness. That's
Yeah.
how bullies choose their targets. They want someone who doesn't really fight back.
Yeah. Of course.
For females, the way they bully is reputation demolition.
Mhm.
And this is where they'll destroy you as a person. They'll destroy who you
Yeah.
are. They'll create rumors. They'll
Mhm.
make it so you feel bad for who you are, so that way you're no longer in the race. So
That's
instead
right.
of improve to beat you, I'll just tear you down so I don't have to improve at all. I just win because you take yourself out of the race.
Right. But
And
why
that's a
can't
different game.
I? It is a different game. And that's what young teenage girls play.
Well, social media has turned this into
Much bigger.
it's way scarier what's going on. We have 3
Yeah.
girls. I'm a girl stepdad. And
Yeah.
so I got 3 teenage girls and we do our best, but like the attack that's on the young females these days it's off the charts. Us parents don't really have a fighting chance
Terrible.
because we're
Terrible.
in the first ones to even have this problem. And so
Yeah.
there is no manual. We're all just doing our best here with something that's way out of the control of even the people who invented it.
Yep. Oh, I
So
know. No, it's
so
awful. It's
but if you
awful.
here's the funny thing, I think it was Jonathan Haidt, Dr. Jonathan, I don't remember. I think it's Dr. Haidt. And so he was talking about the numbers for boys with what the like these technologies and these judgments and shames and all the stuff with the tech, how it's
Mhm.
affecting boys for like self-harm and negative feelings and stuff like that. And the negativity for boys has gone up like a few percent. It's like gone up a little bit. What they really learned, what young men are using their phones for, is like fun, like games,
Mhm.
sports, talking to their friends, and a majority of it is looking up naked people doing naked people stuff. It's
Yeah.
a mobile porn hub. That's pretty much what
Yeah.
your phones are. So if any of you parents are like, my 14-year-old boy's phone is being hacked and somebody's looking up naked pictures when he should be in bed,
Mm-mm.
I'm like, that's your boy.
That's
So
your son.
like, so
Yeah.
they found that out, and there was like a 3 or 4% uptick in like negativity for the boys. For the girls, middle school age and up, because of how aggressive the girls can bully now with like pure
Mhm.
anonymity. Like they can be an anonymous profile can now just tear somebody to shreds. And the self-harming, especially cutting, the self-harm to girls has gone up like a bike ramp. Like the numbers look like this. And that's very interesting when it gets to acceptance, fitting in. Who do you need to be accepted? Trying to find your confidence, trying to find your authenticity, trying to find who you're meant to be, and being popular, fitting in when the peers and the teachers or the people around you are all in on you're the joke.
I know. I remember those days.
It's a tough game. And like you didn't even have the social media. Like we didn't even have that.
No, not at all.
And
like I had none of that.
It was shitty just having the 3 mean girls at school, let alone like the school and now the district and now the state.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's wild. So
it's a terrible, that's a whole terrible world.
Well, this is why we have to be able to have that thing where we can check ourselves. People don't challenge people anymore. Who challenges these people to say like, hey, there's a cost for this? But we took away the consequences for people being mean.
Totally. Exactly. And we let them, like you said, they do it anonymously. They sit behind a computer screen with a fake name on some profile, and they trash talk you. And if you fight back, then their other little trash talking friends, they all like it's a terrible mentality. It's a terrible world.
All right. You do not have to
Can't solve that problem.
Well, maybe.
You can work on it, but yeah.
Let's play hypothetical.
Okay.
All right. You're in the law world, and you don't have to answer this because this is a totally shenanigans question. All right. How would you fix it so that it would work? Like, what would you like? You know what? If they did this and fixed the law to do so and so, that'll chill that shit out. What would you do if you could make that rule? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
That's a tough question because
we gotta save these girls. How would you save them?
I wish I could. I wish there. You know what? It's like the Wild West, right? We need to be able to go in, and they need to be able to shut these people down. There should be criminal charges that can be laid. There should be civil remedies that are available. But the problem with our entire system is that, one, the criminal system is so overburdened with all kinds of other things that it'll never happen. And two, from a civil perspective, no lawyer is going to help you and take your case if there's not any money to get paid.
Damn. So how would you fix it then? Bring back some you guys can kick each other's ass again or what?
That's not going to help.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know.
Sit up the mats
it's a really hard question.
Somebody out? I don't know.
There's an example. There was this young woman in British Columbia and the other one in Canada and the other one's in Nova Scotia. And they were both online bullied to the point that they committed suicide. Like, how is it that it can get that bad that you think you have no other choice?
I think it's so scary. I'm just going to throw out the warrior side to it. It's because we removed consequences for girls and we glamorized bad behavior now. We do. And if we didn't give absolute authority to people who, if they have it, will push somebody to, again, it's one thing to get beat up. It's another thing to be ripped to shreds to the point where you kill yourself. Yeah. And I'm not saying boys don't get bullied this way. They can get pushed. They get pushed to this limit also. Yeah. But that's a lot louder. It's way I saw John get pushed into the locker by Bill. I saw it. You could see that one. But this one is a girl is kicked out of everything, and then it's posted that we kick her out of everything. We make sure she's not included. We put up a party post and then say everybody accept, and then put her name on the accept list only. Stuff to make sure that that no one is supposed to like you, and that you can never be. These are the attacks. Yeah. And they think it's funny. There's no consequences, though. I know, but that's the problem. There is no consequences. Well, there used to be. It used to be fuck around and find out. There used to be that. Well, we took that away. So that means go ahead and fuck around, and then they have to, deal with it themselves with no tools and no backup. Yeah. And that's better. Not really. It used to be better, and you're like, you're going to get choked up. you need to, and that's a real problem. I have grandchildren.
and my youngest is 12. And, she's entering into that phase of her life where the bullying is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrible.
Those are
It's
early
horrible.
teens is hard. 12, 13, that's hard.
It is
Everything's
hard.
different. Everything's changing.
Yeah.
And
And
you
so
don't
then,
measure up in any side. You're not adult. You're not a kid anymore. You're in the middle of like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Everything's weird.
then maybe part of the solution has to be you have to look at the home. And not in the sense that, are they good parents or are they bad parents? But maybe today, if I was the mother of a teenage girl, I would want to have the most open line of communication with her possible.
I agree, but that's a teenager. And during
Mm-hmm.
like the 12 to 16 range is when we are a mess.
Yeah. But
That's
if
when we
you
go through those
know,
phases. There's a lot of phases in that time, like being a total jerk phase. And
yeah,
like we have to go through the phases. I know better
you
than you
do.
phase. Yeah.
No, you do. But if you know that you can come home to a space where your individuality, your identity, your self-worth is strengthened
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to restricted. So if you're not following the sit there, be a good girl, be pretty, don't talk back. If you know that the house that you come into is a safe space where if you've had a bad day because you've been bullied, you can tell your parents that, your parents have got your back and they're there for you and they want to hear you. But most of us work 2 jobs. We're not home a lot. We've got our own responsibilities and our own shit that we're dealing with. And now all of a sudden you got your daughter who's coming in and you're just, look, can you please just go do your homework? I'm trying to get dinner ready.
Mm-hmm. Also, the ones who fuck it all up, who think any of you who just gave yourself a gold star for going, that's why I'm my daughter's best friend. Well, what do you think about that shenanigans, huh?
No. It's not about being their best friend either. Because if you're going to be there and just be your daughter's cheerleader, that's not good enough. You have to call them out on their shit. Just the same.
I don't like being called out on my shit. Why would I call them? I don't want her to feel bad because then I'm bullying her if I call her shit out.
No, you're not. You're just being real with her.
See,
look,
you can see
there's 2 extremes to parent. I know, but there's 2 extremes to parenting in the sense that, yeah, I can be your best friend and I can turn a blind eye to the fact that, you're drinking or you're doing drugs or you're doing this. I just have an open, trusting sense of communication and try to understand, I guess, what she's going through more and be a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
As opposed to so self-absorbed.
I like the answers. I've got 3 of these things, and no matter how much I'm like, you do know that you can come and talk to us. And whenever it's come up, it's been cool. We work through it as a family. It's not a problem. No one gets destroyed by this.
Yeah.
That block is still there. It's teenagers. They can't tell you all their stuff. And so
it's true.
Also, it only takes us one time of fucking it up to flamethrower the garden.
It does. Right?
Like you said, you just had a 2-job day. I'm making dinner. And she's like, Mom, I really have to talk to you. You're like, I don't have time for that. Just do your homework. I'll talk to you later. That one thing made it so I don't think I can talk to my mom.
I know.
Damn it.
And that's hard. But see, I raised boys. I had 2 sons. But I took the same approach with them. Right? They were lying. They were doing stuff. And I was like, I think it was, I said to one of them, they were going to a party. I said, are you going to drink tonight? No. Why would I drink? I said, okay, let's start this question again. You're going to a party, right? Yeah. All your friends going to be there? Yep. Somebody's bringing alcohol, I assume? Yeah. Are you bringing alcohol? No. Okay. Well, here's what you get to do. And then, I would have these conversations with them to help them understand the challenges that they might face and how they can deal with them. But then I also said, look, if you're going to come home and you're going to lie to me, I'm going to be your worst enemy. Take your pick. They made the right choice, but, needless to say, I got a few phone calls. Mom, the cops are coming. What should I do?
Fucking run.
Run, dude, run. What do you think you should do?
Everybody knows that.
Don't let them in the house.
Why do you think I've been teaching you to jump fences? Come on.
That's right, exactly.
You're so
We live.
funny.
I live in the country, man.
And
Yeah,
you
you
heard it.
better run.
You heard it from our lawyer.
Yeah. No, you know what? It is it's such a hard question, right?
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is, but I
It's
don't know
tough.
what the solution is.
I've got a lot more empathy with with just the background stuff I'm in right now. I have a lot more empathy for where kids are. This is a time that's very confusing for all parties.
Mhm.
And I wish I could say that we have the answers, but even in the psychology world, the jury is out. We are all still trying to figure out this completely new world that,
Yeah.
like, it's amplified by billions, not just hundreds, by
Mhm.
billions. It used to be just community was your comparison, and now it's global.
Yeah.
That's a really weird thing. And
It is.
now it's
And
going into like comparison versus even AI, which is,
oh,
totally
I'm
different
terrified
thing.
of AI.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to go it's going that direction already in
Yeah.
every category, not just writing, but there's stuff where they can create photographs with AI that just never existed, but it's pretty cool. Like
Mhm.
it can be anything. It's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so
I know.
it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy what's happening now instantaneously. So
Yeah.
we don't know how we're supposed to handle it.
No.
And we don't know how to protect our kids from
No.
something that's 100% inevitable.
Mhm.
And they're growing up with a technology that, even if you've watched like The Social Dilemma, people who created these tech is like, we don't use it because we lost control of it a long time ago,
Mhm.
and it will control you. And our kids are like, we got it, no training.
Yeah. And the bullying doesn't stop for teenagers.
No.
I think as women, we're still falling into that same trap where we're looking at, the beautiful, the skinny, or the muscular, or all we're doing is looking at people and seeing what we're not.
So the comparison is always there for women.
The comparison is always there for women. Always.
Damn. So that's really
Always.
tough. And that was put in there
Mhm.
from very young age.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So how are like, I kind of do want your opinion on this one. How do you fight that? How are you supposed to be authentic and be fully accepting of yourself when your whole life is based on comparison, which is at least a 5-level curse that I can see, and then throw in also like the bargaining aspect of it where, okay, let me break down how I'm seeing this.
Okay.
It's at least 5 parts to it. So the first part is doubt. You have to doubt yourself. You're not good enough as you are. So
Yep.
we compare you to something else.
Mhm.
Now I see bargaining also in there. But you could be good enough if you have this makeup or this workout or this push-up bra, or you dye your hair, or you did this facelift or a boob job or a butt job or some job. Like,
Mhm.
you could be if you drink this shake or do this thing. Like, there's a thing that you can do. Now
Right.
we have you could be if, which is mostly usually bullshit or fucks you up anyways. And so
Mhm.
now it's inauthentic. Then there's a denial. Are you trying to change what you are to be what somebody else says you should be? No. I'm just accentuating. No, I'm just enhancing myself. It's really the true me, not because I don't like me, but just because I like me a little more. I feel more confident. Instead of saying my real face is okay. Your face is not okay, but it could be if it does this, and then you call that authentic.
Mhm.
And then you still have excuses. I know that's in there because, like,
Yes.
well, why are you doing all that? Because it's good for me, and I can justify and I can create all of these reasons why it's better. And you should never challenge this, because if you do, I'll get defensive and I'll, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I'm going to start attacking or do something in some way to deflect. That's excuses in there. And then I
Mhm.
also see fear. And fear is in there as, what if they really see me for me? Would I still be accepted and loved? So I have to keep being this other thing that I'm compared to. Now, before, you were compared to your school or your community or your inner circle or just the town, whatever you're from,
Mhm.
which is hundreds to thousands, if that. Well, now you're compared to everyone in the world.
Yeah.
How do you beat that as a lady? Like, when does the comparison ever become like, fuck this? When do you get to that? Okay, that's what I see. What's your opinion though of like, I just see at least 5 layers of this curse of comparison.
Yeah. And it happens. And that's what the industry, the beauty industry, the health and wellness, that's what it all plays on. But I still think that, if you think that you need to change this, or you need to color your hair, or whatever, lose 20 pounds or this or that, it all stems from the same thing. It all stems from the values and the beliefs. And are your values and beliefs creating insecurities in your mind, or have you built a system of values and beliefs that creates a secure system, like a secure foundation for who you are?
It's a good question. But
And
they
I
have
think
to stop lying to themselves to know the answer. Right?
you have to stop lying to yourself. But we do it all the time.
Yes,
we all do it. We all do it. I still do it. I'm sure there's lots of times I still lie to myself, but whatever. I try not to hurt anybody. No, I think we all do. And I think that, I know even myself, there are days when I feel great and I feel strong and I feel confident. And there are days when I don't. And some mornings I wake up and it's shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's usually because, for me at least, it's usually, sleep, food, exercise. Those are important to me. If I'm tired and I'm not getting enough sleep and I'm not getting my workouts in and I'm eating like shit, I feel like shit. Mm-hmm. And when I don't feel good about anything, I don't feel good about myself. So a lot of, I think, is, you have to start, like I said, identifying your values and beliefs, what they are. You have to identify the triggers. What brings out that insecurity in you? What has made you feel this way about yourself? And is there a way to give that event that may have happened 25, 30 years ago just a different meaning? Because if you just flip the switch and you change the meaning that you're giving to something, then you're going to change how your mind interprets it. And you're going to change the habits that follow from that. And if somebody, so you're in class, math teacher says, what's 2 plus 2? You put your hand up, you're like, oh my God, I know the answer. And you say 6. Everybody starts laughing at you. Fast forward 20 years later, you're in the boardroom or wherever, and somebody asks you a question, or you want to jump in and you want to say something. Your mind's it's gonna protect you, and it's gonna say, oh, don't talk out, Stacey. Don't say that, because everybody's gonna laugh at you again. Right? So then I think I'm stupid. Then I think I'm an imposter. I don't belong in this meeting. And I start beating myself up for all of this stuff. When it all stems from a negative habit or a negative mindset that you started developing when you were younger.
Yeah.
So maybe the trick is that it's not really a trick. The process is that you've got to first figure out why. We're back to that word. Why? Why do you feel this way? Well, why do you think why do you feel like you're fat? Why do you feel that you're not attractive? Why do you feel this? Well, because when I was a kid and I was growing up and my mom would get depressed and she would sit down and she'd eat cake because, we didn't talk about depression back then. Mm-hmm. And I'm now sitting down eating cake with her. And now when I feel sad, well, I just eat cake. Mm-hmm. We all become programmed to have these values and beliefs in ourselves. And it's not easy work. It's taken me a long time to figure it out. And I'm still working on it now. But it all starts with how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself.
Yeah. I like that you went into the meaning part of it, because acceptance is one part, but finding meaning goes from poor me to for me. And you brought that up. Mm-hmm. And then being able to find meaning and sometimes honor, it depends on the loss that you're talking about. But even the example that you said where, I said 6 instead of 4 and everyone laughed at me. And then going, because of the feeling that I had, this is what it means. Yeah. And then you made up a meaning. It means I'm stupid. It means I'm dumb. It means I shouldn't raise my hand and all these things. But you can also go back and go like, well, what's the meaning of it? And you go like, well, if someone said 2 plus 2 is 6, well, that's funny. And so if I was able to call it what it is, well, I would laugh too, actually.
Yeah.
So that is
come on, we all laughed, right?
So let's call it what it is. That's actually a little funny. So instead of calling it embarrassing, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, and all that, I'm funny.
Yeah. I'm brave. I put my hand up and answered. Nobody else did.
Yeah, that's the trick, I guess. If you said trick, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree on the trick thing. Maybe it is us tricking our brains into a reality that
Mhm.
we can accept also, because you made up
Yep.
all the beliefs. Just so you guys know, all the beliefs that you made up when you didn't have any training, well,
Mhm.
you made that shit up too. You made up you're
That's right.
stupid, you made up you're dumb, you made it
Yeah.
all up. Nobody
Yes.
confirmed, you just made it up.
Yep.
Well, then you can make it up being something different. You made
Right.
it up the first time, make it up this time.
Right. Why do I have to give a meaning to an event that makes me feel bad?
Oh, I'll tell you.
Why?
Because you're creating a belief system around it. That's
That's
why.
right. Exactly. So if I have the power to assign a negative meaning to an event, so I now carry that forward with me to feel bad, do I not also have the same power to revisit that event, give it
Yes.
a new, better meaning that helps me feel better about myself going forward?
Yes.
Then why
You know,
don't you?
one of the things that was empowering for that, when before I started doing neuro linguistic work and stuff like that with people to help people go back into the memories and rewrite them, it was a Dr. Dispenza, when I was reading stuff from him, and he
Mhm.
talked about one of his main motivations for what he does in the neurology work is, if you can think yourself through stress and anxiety and you can make yourself sick from all of the thoughts that you have,
Mhm.
well, wouldn't that mean you can think yourself well?
Yeah.
And that
Exactly.
was that was very inspiring for me when I was writing my first programs and my books. Is like, if we can challenge limiting belief systems, that means we can change people's meaning and acceptance of things so that they can stop thinking themselves sick and they can think themselves well.
Mhm.
So we can train this as a skill, and people can then have the ability to revisit any memory and then
Mhm.
change it to what it, like the meaning. I can change the meaning.
Yep.
Now I look for the traumas. I'm like, let's go into it. Let's go ahead and
That's
see what
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Here's another trick you can do. Stacey, are you far more capable, strong, confident now than you were when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
then you
think
can
I
go
am.
back in those memories as you right now. You don't have to be a little kid in
Mhm.
your memory. You can go as you right now with your warrior beads and your warrior armor on.
Yep.
And I can
That's
go
right.
into that memory now and go, how would I handle this right now? And you
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take your power back.
That's right. Look, for years and years, I was so ashamed. I
Mhm.
left home. I was a teenage runaway. I was so ashamed for what I did, who I was, what I went through, the things I was ashamed of, the things that I had to do to survive. But why? Why do now I look back and I've changed that meaning. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm actually proud. And if
Mhm.
you think about it in this context, I'm a lawyer, I'm a partner in a very male dominated profession.
Mhm.
And all lawyers are pretty much the same,
What does that
right?
mean?
That means that they have a high school, they have their undergraduate, they're well spoken, they're well educated, they're very proper, they're very, you know, just there's a mold. There's a mold that you see for a typical lawyer. And for a long time, up until probably even a couple of years ago, I was ashamed to say, well, I was a 15-year-old teenage runaway and I've only got a high school diploma. I didn't go to college. I went straight to law school. Like, to me, that was something I felt I had to hide because I didn't fit the general mold of a lawyer, which was, I have my undergraduate degree from here. I graduated honors in this and blah, 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 blah. I'm this big fancy lawyer. But for years, I was still ashamed of it. Why? I don't know.
I was
I
going to say,
chose not to be.
what's the answer?
The answer is I was judging myself. I was lying to myself. I was placing shame on myself. And I was thinking that if everybody knew, then this is how they would think of me.
Oh, I love it. So you made up everybody's thoughts for them before they knew, so that way you
Mm-hmm.
could control the truth around them knowing, so that they never know, so that way you're good.
Yep.
So then be quiet, sit like a lady, be a good girl.
Be quiet, be like a lady, sit like a girl, and fit in. Just
Fit
fit
right
in,
in.
Stacey.
Fit right
Just
in.
fit in. That's what I do, right?
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
control everything.
No. No, I don't want to control everything anymore. Controlling everything is tiring.
It's
It's exhausting.
exhausting. Yeah,
Okay?
jinx.
It's exhausting. You know who I control? I control me.
How we handle things, yes.
How I handle things, how I see myself, and the fact that I was talking to somebody a little while ago and they said something to me and I said to them back, looked at them and said, you know what? I appreciate your point of view, but your opinion of me doesn't define who I am.
Boom. I think
Bye.
people need more of that. Or here's
And
an easy one I use too. I'm like, I appreciate your offer for nothing or your opinion,
mhm.
but I decline. Thank you.
Yeah.
I decline. That's not who I am. But thank you.
Yeah. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insight. I appreciate it, but I don't accept it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna I don't have to I can decline that offer. Thank you.
Yeah. And what
And that's
happens?
okay. Permission for all of you to decline and not
Yes.
accept everything somebody says about you. Blame, shame, and judgment needs to have an
Yep.
armor that says,
Mhm.
I hear you. I just don't
Yep.
agree with you.
That's all.
Permission to be disagreeable.
Exactly.
Stacey,
It's
this is
okay.
I'm going to lean into the guy stuff a little bit here. I
Okay.
want your opinion here. So one of the problems women have is because of the acceptance thing, they are more agreeable. And guys, they would get ahead more because we are generally far less agreeable. I mean,
Mhm.
I think even we could just agree men are generally less agreeable, especially with other men. Like,
Yep.
shut up, Carl. I'm not listening to that.
That's
We're
right.
doing it this way. We're not agreeable.
Yep.
And so that's where the whole the male dominated aspect of things is because they'll go for what they want without trying to worry about everyone's feelings.
Mhm.
Now you're in this world where you have to be this like, I don't agree. In fact, I object. Like you're in a world where you have to be disagreeable. Can you tell me some of your experiences in this world to kind of maybe give people a little bit more weapons or ammo in their utility belt? Or even insight. That's probably where I would really want to know. Is like, here you are. It's a male dominated environment. I'm not even trying to be like sexist in either way, chauvinistic. It is. It's mostly dudes. Like, and it always has
Mostly
been.
dudes.
And I know female attorneys, and you had to pave the way in, and there was an uphill battle. Hell, you could just watch a fucking movie.
Mhm.
Like we get this much of how much you had to go through. I can only imagine. So I would need some insight on like what is that, just to educate the guys, even to go like, hey, wake up, this bullshit's there. Because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Sometimes we feel, or I've seen women who they have to take on the persona of being a guy, right? They're more ballsy. They're hard. They think that, you know, if this is the way you're going to be, then I need to play and be that way back at you. But that doesn't always fly because unless that's really true who you are, it's never going to come across with the outcome that you want. And, you know, if you don't and you just let it slide, then it continues to happen. And I think the best way to deal with it is that you just have to understand that one, you can say no. We don't have to say yes to everything. And there are ways that you can develop where you can respectfully disagree without basically, I don't know, being like, I don't want to say a bitch because sometimes we have to be, but you know, you just don't come across as this whiny sort of screechy feminist either. You just gotta figure out your style and don't take anything to heart. Really. You
I
can't
think
take a lot of what they say to you to heart.
it's good advice, but hard to practice. Because even like you said, here's one thing that I would say is I see people who try to emulate the opposite sex, and I'm not trying to go into any of the LGBTQ any area. I'm
No.
not going that
No,
area.
no, no. We're not talking. I don't mean it
No,
like that. Yeah.
no, I'm just saying like I'm not. I see the. Here's an example I use for like drag queens, for example.
Mhm.
I've been to drag queen shows. Fucking riot. It's
Oh,
fun
they're
as hell.
amazing. They're so
They're
much fun.
hysterical. So the drag queen itself would be a guy who dresses as a woman, but when they do that, it's way over embellished, like way bigger hair,
Mhm.
way bigger eyelashes, way bigger nails, way bigger heels. Everything is bigger and
Yep.
louder. and
Mhm.
that's the idea behind it, is a very embellished version of it.
Yes.
Well, you said take on the persona of what they think a guy is. And I've seen that persona also be almost like the boss babe thing, is
Mhm.
almost like a drag queen version of the girl acting like a boy, which
Yeah.
is way over the top, way more mean, way more aggressive, way
Mhm.
more disagreeable. Like you said, bitchy. But like, I'm watching the movies now when they portray women as boss babes and they're just a really mean person. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't think that that's what masculine is. Because
No.
as a guy, I don't have to go be mean to everybody in order to be considered confident or strong or in control of my own choices.
Yeah.
Yet you'll watch these personas which seem like way embellished. So, what's your opinion of people who take on the persona of boss babe to try to compensate?
I think you're right. I think sometimes it's over the top. And again, it also means that you're taking on a role that you're interpreting based on someone else's behavior. And I think for me, and for like, I've experienced things on all different ranges. But like if I go into a meeting, for example, and I know that it's going to be all guys, I don't take a pen and I don't take a little I don't take a pad of paper in with me anymore. Because as soon as they see a woman in a meeting who has a pen and a paper, they're the ones, she's got to take the notes. Oh, Stacey, great. Listen, would you mind just taking the notes and then typing up a memo? No, I brought my phone. Sorry. So it's not so much about changing the environment, right? Because we're never going to change how men are. We're never going to change the male dominated professions, right? But why do we have to change ourselves in the sense that we have to now be something we're not? Why don't we just be more conscious of our behaviors in that world so we can be true to who we are?
Is it possible then to be nurturing, sweet, empathetic, kind, and still be disagreeable?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Absolutely, you can be. Absolutely.
that would lean more into being authentic to go, you can still be really nice and still have a healthy boundary.
Mhm. I'm a very nice person. I take the time. I'm empathetic with my clients and all of that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I have to say, you need to understand that this is why this is this way. This is why we can't do this. But
Mm-hmm.
not in a way where all of a sudden I'm coming off as something I'm not, which takes us right back to what we talked about at the beginning, which is you have to be authentic in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you
And
have to build your strong core values and beliefs about who you are.
or at least be around people, and this is where like I have a profession, is be around people who can help you discover what those are so you can have the ability to
Yes,
change them.
exactly. Yeah,
And then once you realize where they are, who is it on to do it?
it's on you.
It's all on me.
It's all on me. But you know what? When it's all on me, I also feel that I now have a responsibility to reach back and help other people who are trying to figure that out,
Correct. So that
right?
this is where I applaud anyone who can truly go in and do the authenticity, the acceptance, and actually challenge everything to the point with why,
Mhm.
to be able to find who you really are. So that way, when you see somebody floundering in inauthenticity and in imposter syndrome or acting like a boss babe in a male dominated environment, which is become, I think it's become a lot more hazy and weird these days than
It
back
has.
when you were
Yep.
fighting,
Mhm.
because you had to go through and it's like you got nothing, you're taking fucking
Yeah.
notes. You had to go
Yep.
through before you could go, no, Carl.
Yeah.
Like before
No.
you could do that. I
Yeah.
just made up a name. I don't know if Carl's
Yeah.
really there.
I
He
don't
may
have a
be.
curl either,
Okay.
but you're right. We're in a world now where it's not just women, right? We have a very gender diverse a population. So I have to, and I have no evidence. I haven't done any research on this yet. But how is it for people who identify differently
Mhm.
than the traditional male female identification. How do they feel trying to fit into the male dominated career or profession? Do they also feel square peg round hole? And
I don't
how are those people compromising
I
on their
don't
values
I
and
don't
beliefs?
I don't have a lot. I have a few friends in this category, but each of them has found a way to navigate through their authenticity into their own world. And so
Mhm.
like they create their own business or they operate within their own, like, this is my space that I operate under. And so they generally will be breaking the mold even on the traditional jobs also. So that's just the ones that I know. I can't speak for all, of course, but
Yeah.
like I have transgender friends who are like,
Yeah.
no, I just made my own business and I don't operate in that at all. So that doesn't help very much, but I see where they're like,
Yeah.
I don't fit in any mold there. Why would I fit in any mold here?
True.
So
And it's interesting because part of me says that's really too bad. Um, are they isolating themselves because of it? And then there's the other part of me that's like, good on you. Get out there and do your own thing. Make
well,
your way. Find your path.
well, there's a one person I have, and you have to listen to the Patreon for the second one. But Dr. Reese Sibitani Blake is transgender, was a male to female, did the surgeries, did all the stuff,
Hmm.
and fascinating person, very very cool. I enjoy the conversations very much with them, and they're explaining how they were in like the darkest levels of hell when it came to like sex trafficking and all of this stuff, very dark world, and
Yeah.
couldn't get out. So what she did was create her own business there and then control the environment from within there. So it was like a
Hmm.
sex business that they could make all the rules.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yep.
like, I can't get out of hell, but I'll start my business in hell and make rules here so that way I can control it. And I
Yep.
was like, well played. It's a brilliant way to survive
It
in
is.
an unsurvivable environment,
That's
and
true.
took your power back. And so
Hmm.
these are just one, and there's many examples I've seen with people who are like, the rules aren't making sense for me, so I'll have to find a way to make the rules make sense. But
Yep.
oftentimes, the people that I know also don't fall into the fringe groups of extremists or fundamentalists. And so
Yeah.
you can ask questions and not have it be a violent reaction. So
Right.
it's a good question. I think that,
It
what
is, but
I've
it's
seen
we
is they
have to
break the
tread
rules.
lightly.
They break the rules in their own ways, and good on them. So it's tough
Yeah.
because a majority of people don't fall into like their category. It's a very, very, very small percentage.
Hmm.
But the larger percentage is like the men and women now. And now with I'd say with blame, shame, and judgment becoming the weapons, because remember, women can do reputation demolition with no consequence now.
Yep. That's right.
And that wasn't the case. The reality was, throughout history, if she got out of line, you should whoop her ass. Like, and like,
Yeah.
listen, I am not defending this behavior. Women historically, if you go back, a few hundreds of years ago, not good for the ladies. Like, it was
No.
brutal on top of brutal.
Terrible.
What the guy could do, she can't do. Like, and women had to take the worst of all the punishment. So I'm not
Hmm.
defending anything here.
No, no, I
But
understand that. Yep.
that's why there would be people who listen, like, you're just doing it. Like, listen, ladies had it worse, no question.
Yep.
No question. There's no doubt. But there became also a rise in good men. There was gentlemen. There became a rise. Like, women forget that the reason guys say don't hit a lady is
Hmm.
not because ladies made us stop.
Yep.
Gentlemen made gentlemen stop.
Hmm.
Guys started regulating guys to go, nah, don't hit a lady. That's not what we do. The
Yes.
guys stopped the guys. And
Yes.
now that's turned into guys don't hit girls because we're stronger than you. Oh no, that didn't happen. This was a generous and kind gift that the guys have
Hmm.
created this shield that has now been used to go, it's because you're a bitch. And now there are more guys getting hit in relationships than women. And this is not being reported as much because it's embarrassing for a man to report he's being
Of
abused by
course.
a woman.
Of course it is.
And so this is happening more and more only because guys are still being gentlemen and women are no longer being challenged to stop. And so they
Yeah.
really think that they are the stronger. Now, the problem is the sons and the boys who are growing up
Mhm.
in this age will not have this gentleman thing. And
Yep.
ladies will lose later because the ones who are trying, they're going to protect you against the bad guys are going to go, you said you got this. You said you're better than us. You get it.
Mhm.
And that'll stop quick.
Yeah. It's
Girls
not
lose.
about being
Listen,
better then.
listen, I'm a man. I'm a girl dad. I got 3 girls.
Yeah.
I don't want this direction. I don't like this. Does not look good for our girls.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yep.
this doesn't look good, ladies. I need you to pull back on that a little bit, which is
Yep.
why also, and you maybe you can see this. You've got sons. Some of the loudest men's activists that I see for men's rights are women
Really?
because they're like, my son has to live in the world you're trying to create.
Yeah.
You're going to make it so my son has no damn chance at all.
That's true too.
And so they're going, wait, ladies. What rights do you not have that they have? Let's just make sure. I got to see if it's equal. What
Mhm.
rights, what laws apply only to them that don't apply to you? Which ones?
None.
Well, then
We're equal across the board that way.
maybe we should slow down then, ladies. Slow down, because now we're going to go too far, and
Mhm.
that's going to create a whole new set of problems. We got all the rights. We got it. Hey,
Yep.
we got the rights. Slow down. Stop.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
if this goes too far, my sons don't get a good life,
That's
and
right.
then the boys will stop protecting the girls, just like Universe 25, and then shit starts falling the fuck apart.
Yeah.
Ladies, stop it.
It's not about being better than you, right?
Mhm.
It's not about me being able to sit here and say, I'm better than you, I'm stronger than you. I'm just the same. Like, I'm just equal. Don't look at me and expect me to be the one to get the note, to take the notes, or to go and get the coffee. If there's somebody else, Bob sitting over there, tell him to get off his ass and do it. Why should I have to do it? Because I'm the woman? No.
Well,
Let's.
this is where in the field for these, I would challenge competency. Well, do you have the skills? You're like, yeah,
True.
I'll kick ass in court. I've got the skills. You're like,
Mhm.
who's the new guy then? Who doesn't have the skills? What's challenge competency? New guy takes the notes. That's how it is.
That's right.
Get your skills up, and then the next new guy takes the notes. That's how it goes.
That's right.
It has nothing to do with gender. It's skilled or not skilled, trained or not trained.
That's right. Exactly. Yep.
So listen. I'm with it on that part. With it, I think when it starts getting into there's either direction for the men pushing really far, like we're better at everything. No, we're better at some stuff.
Of course you are.
It's
You're
there. We're
sure.
naturally way stronger. There's no argument.
Naturally.
If
Absolutely.
I decided to switch sexes today and I identified as a lady, I'd be in the top 1% of the strongest women on earth.
Of course.
And I don't even train for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true.
And so there's those things, and there's just benefits to being able to say together we can do things in
Mhm.
a better way. But I think that ladies now are actually, and you tell me your opinion. I really want your opinion on this. Women are starting to wake up to go, actually, like I feel most fulfilled in that nurturing role, like being there for your sons and being that part where, like, no, I can show you how a good lady is.
Yep.
Let me show you how someone loves the right way, and let me show you what paying attention looks like, and really listening to care, and what that nurture and empathy is. And ladies today are really struggling because not only do you still have burden of beauty, but now you
Mhm.
have burden of performance and burden of beauty,
Yep.
and you have to keep up on both sides. You have to run against the wolves we don't have to worry about being as beautiful.
Mhm. Yep.
This whole thing going gray is in my benefit.
I'm like, yeah, whatever. I know
Gives a
now you're a mature man.
Yeah, I'm more mature now,
A
right?
silver fox. That's
Right? Yeah,
right.
that's where I'm going. I'm going silver fox. That's my
Yeah.
next thing. Well, ladies are like, the silver fox thing doesn't fly for us, so we have to go a
No.
different direction. We have to do the same run with the wolves, but we got to do it in heels. Fuck. Like, that's hard. I don't talk shit about it. Like, I don't think that guys would do as well. And so we it's a struggle to have the same level, but you're in that world. Is it just as tough for the guys? I don't know. It's not for
I don't
my
think it
side.
is.
My side, it isn't.
I think it's still tough for us that way because we're just look. we're nurture, like you said, we're nurturers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We bear the children, we help raise the children. That we are just physiologically, biologically, the more nurturing, caring people. And it's okay to be that way. It really, really is. Just be the strongest version of yourself. Really.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's so awesome. Listen, having somebody like that's what our guy said. Like, if they could make their one wish, like, what do you want your girl's main thing to be? It's like, well, just be nice.
Be nice.
Like,
and be strong.
I want to come home to my lowest lane, not my kryptonite.
Yeah.
That's what
right?
they said.
Exactly. No, it's true, right? I know. It's a tough balance.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance between there's so many factors
on this one. You'll enjoy the comment section. Like, well, maybe if he was acted like a Superman, maybe I could be a little like, you'll see all these like nag, and you're like, ladies, you go ahead. What are you doing right now? Don't gaslight your introspection. Don't lie to yourself.
Exactly.
What are you doing right now? Are you tearing your guy down? Are you making it all about you? Are you bitching and complaining? What are you doing right now? Because if you call it what it really is, you'll recognize your opportunity for growth.
It's true. It's so true. It's just not easy because we don't want to see that ugly side of us.
Everyone else does.
Because that's not who we make ourselves out to be. But when you finally stop and you start to really look at it, man, once you get in the role and like once you get it going, it's so freeing and it is so liberating. Because then you stop giving a shit. That's what it comes down to, I think, in some ways.
I like it. You get freedom and liberation.
You do get freedom and you get, you really do.
Your stuff. You recognize your stuff, freedom, liberation. And so one of the things I really like that you said at the beginning, let me make sure I quote it word for word exactly right. Fix your shit.
Fix your shit. That's right. Just fix your shit, man. Stop worrying about fixing everybody else's shit.
If you're trying to fix everyone else's shit, that means you got shit to fix.
That's right. Exactly. It means you're ignoring your own.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because happy people don't worry about everybody else's stuff. We can accept people for where they are, and I don't have to get upset about it.
Yeah.
But the more that you're trying to tell everybody else how to be is really exposing that you've got work to do.
Then you've got work to do. Do the work on yourself because there's going to come a day when it's going to be too late. And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Die.
Oh, or start from the beginning at a later.
Or start from the beginning. And you know what? It's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late. It's never too late because you see yourself here and you say, okay, now I want to be here. But the growth happens here. It all comes the little steps along the way.
Yeah.
That's where you get the energy and then you get the self-satisfaction and you get the momentum and you're like, yeah, you know what? I may not be to exactly where I want to be today and I may never get there, but I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Just on my way.
It works for everybody when you work on you.
Yeah, it does.
I like it.
It does.
Stacey, this is fun.
It's been fun. I would love to come back.
Yeah.
Keep the chat going.
Yeah, we could do that. This is good. Listen, thanks for representing the ladies. This is like, how do you do the boss babe the right way?
How do you do it the right way?
Like, be cool. You're like, you can still be a boss babe and be nice.
You can. It's more fun that way.
And it's okay to disagree. And, at some point, you can still honey badger. If you fuck around, you'll find out.
Yeah. And say no. If you want to say no, just say no.
That's a full sentence.
Don't take it on. Don't take on anything because you don't want to, because you feel you have to prove yourself. The answer is just no.
I like it.
That's right. All right, Rick.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Dash and go be a badass lawyer now.
Yeah, go be. You know what? Go save some lives here.
All right, I will. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
You don't have to.